All right, guys. Welcome to tonight's webinar. My name is Coach Sarah Fisher Reynolds. If you don't already know me, I am the co-founder of Functional Effect Fitness and Rehabilitation in Downers Grove, and I now run ACOS Nutrition, which is an online health coaching business where I help people get to their goals in a safe and sustainable way. And tonight, I brought you guys here and invited you here for a talk about metabolism and how you can optimize it, the methods and tips and tricks that you can use to boost it, and how mainstream diet culture is doing the opposite of that and how it's keeping you stuck, spinning your wheels, and likely leading you into a state of frustration with your goals. So I'm going to be covering a lot of those things tonight. I'll be sharing my screen here shortly with you, and we'll be going through this PowerPoint. Keep your fingers crossed that it works out for me, because you guys know, if you know me, not a computer person, not my strong suit. But I'm going to do my best tonight to give you a really great presentation. So metabolism, like I was saying, there's a lot of misinformation out there about metabolism and what it takes to get good results, especially when it comes to body composition change, fat loss, muscle gain. So let me go ahead and share my screen and see if I can figure out how to do this. All right, let me see. Okay, I think I figured it out. All right, okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint? Hooray! Okay, guys. So, like I was saying, metabolism. This word is such a misused word and a misinterpreted word, and it's led to the fitness industry profiting big time off of trying to teach people how to tweak and optimize and boost and burn off their body fat and boost their metabolism. So, there are 45 million people per year that go on a diet. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. 45 million people per year. There's about 350 million people in the United States. That's a pretty big percentage of Americans who go on a diet every year. But do you guys also know that 70% of Americans are considered overweight or obese? So 45 million people per year that go on a diet, 70% of the American population is overweight or obese. Like, something's not computing. And it really comes down to the fact that 98% of all diets fail. And that's not a stat that I made up. That's a true stat. And it's based off of the way that mainstream weight loss is approached is not sustainable. It is not maintainable. And it is not realistic to allow someone to live their life. And it equates to a $61 billion industry. And if you have any familiarity with some of the fads that have come along the way within the fitness industry, you're going to see things like 8-minute abs. You're going to see things like the Thigh Master. You're going to see things like the shake weight. You're going to see Tybo, Billy Blanks, whatever that thing is, and every single extreme diet that you've ever heard of. This is all included in this $61 billion umbrella. These things are attempted by some of these 45 million people who are trying to get more fit. And all they're ending up with at the end of the day is a credit card bill that reflects their purchases, frustration, and their morale is basically in the dumpster because they have failed yet again at another attempt to change their body. And I don't know if any of you can identify with that cyclical, like lather, rinse, and repeat yourself to the same level of frustration type of results, but 98% of diets fail, like I was saying. So let's cycle back to that and let's talk about what are some of the reasons why we might be seeing these diets failing in the long term. And it's realistically because of the habits that we see people engage in on a day-to-day basis. For instance, 5% of the US population gets 30 minutes of active time per day. And I'm not talking about a workout, friend. I'm talking about moving your legs. 5% of the American population moves their body for 30 minutes or more per day. If your mind was just blown, you're welcome. That alone could be one big reason why we see 70% of our American population overweight or obese. Another reason, gym memberships. Want to know a crazy stat about gym usage? 2/3 of all gym memberships purchased remain unused. like beyond swiping in to pay your first bill, nothing past that. So where does the problem come in? Why are 98% of diets ending in failure? It's because we're too focused on the outcome and not focused enough on the methods that you're using to get there. That's where the real problem lies. It's, I see a sexy quick fix. I see something that looks like it's really good because of that before and after picture that I see in the ad. That is probably not an actual picture, by the way. And I fall for the next trap. I fall for the next sexy quick fix. Because trust me, friend, I was right there with you. I was the person who was anything that came in a fat burner pill form from ages probably 17 to 25. I tried it because I was convinced that my fat loss was going to come in the form of a pill or in the form of a magic bullet, if you will. Well, guess what? It's not. It's going to come in the form of you reevaluating the way you look at fitness, the way you look at nutrition, the way you see yourself getting there. All of that has to change. If you are currently in a position where you are not happy with the way your body looks, the way your body feels, the way your body performs, if you are unhappy in any one of those three areas, something about what you're doing has to change. And it has to start with the way you think about it. So when we talk about the way we do fitness and why you should be listening to what we have to say, because it's not just me who's in here tonight. For those of you who just know me, the other coaches from Functional Effect are in the house tonight. So we have Coach Jody, we have Coach Andrew, we have Coach Ashley, we have Anne Marie in here. I don't know if Kirk's on with us tonight. And I think my amazing husband might also be in here somewhere too. But just know that you're getting the expertise of an entire team when we are talking about this topic. And what we speak to when we speak to these topics it's the science behind it. We don't base what we talk to you about off of our personal opinions about a topic or dogma, meaning that we don't think that there's one fix for all problems. You have to have a tool belt that encompasses all different kinds of tools. You can't just have a hammer, because if you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And we're going to be showing you a proven success method that's gotten over the last 7 years, 90% plus success rate. So when we talk about what does success look like? Well, in the case of this particular challenge, it's been nothing more than fitting into something that you weren't previously able to fit into, although we're doing things differently this year. And we are going to be focusing still on non-scale victories. So when I talk about 90% success rate, we're talking about 1 to 2 sizes of clothing change in 6 to 8 weeks over the last 7 years for 90% or more of the people who have done this coaching group. So the other reason why you may want to listen in is because your good friend Sarah has been exactly where you might be right now. And I have had quite the weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss journey. And it's happened over the course of many years, starting when I was 19. And when I was 19, that was when I first decided I was going to lose weight. And you want to know how I did it? I did it by starving myself. I don't recommend it. Not a good method of weight loss. But nonetheless, lost almost 100 pounds. Moving forward, as I grew and as I learned more, I learned how to manipulate my body in a different way and got myself to this state also by doing things in an unhealthy way. So best physical aesthetic shape of my life, but got there in a way that was not sustainable and was not maintainable. And what happened because of that long term was that I bounced back in the other direction. But what the key and what we're going to talk about tonight is how to create sustainability, how to create realistic habits that allow you to have the best fitness and best shape and best nutrition of your life all the time, not seasonally, not when it's convenient, not when you're feeling like it, or not when you get so sick and tired of the way you feel that you feel forced into a new way of doing things. This is about creating a sustainable approach that allows you to gain confidence in what you're doing and knowing that it's the right next move for you. And trust me when I say that when you're in a group like this, there is no judgment, because the beauty of this process is the accountability. Because a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about tonight with metabolism are not going to be big news flashes for you. They're going to be things that you're like, oh yeah, totally. Like I've heard that before. I'm familiar with that. The thing that makes this process truly beautiful is that you have a bunch of other people to hold you accountable and call you out on your crap. And that's really why getting involved and getting coaching on any level is going to be to your advantage when you go through a process like this, because your progress happens right on the outside edge of your comfort zone. And when you're going outside of your comfort zone, do you really want to go outside your comfort zone alone? Not really. I'd much rather go outside my comfort zone with a friend. Like think about when you've had to walk to a really far bathroom that's kind of in a dark corner somewhere. Do you want to go by yourself? Or do you want to take a friend? I'd rather take a friend. So walking through this process along with a group of people or along even with one person can make all the difference. So tonight, again, we're going to talk about mastering your metabolism. And we consider that mastering your metabolism requires you to have a holistic approach to your fitness. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to be paying attention to your meals and your nutrition. It means that we're going to be paying attention to how you move your body and how you exercise. It also means that we're going to be tuning into your mindset, because without any one of those three legs, you will not see the success that you would otherwise be capable of if you were able to establish good baseline foundational habits with all three of those legs. So that's going to be what we help you focus in on. So the first rule of metabolic optimization, or boosting your metabolism, or getting your body, creating a fat burning machine, is learning the law of metabolic compensation. So many people think that the metabolism is like a light switch. It goes on and it goes off. That's not true. Many people also think that the metabolism is like a calculator. We put calories in, we take calories out by exercising, and it's just a simple math equation. Also not true. What we need to understand is that the metabolism is a stress barometer. The metabolism is adaptive and it is reactive. And the best way to know if your metabolism is in check is to look at your SHMEC. Now, what is your SHMEC? Your SHMEC is comprised of 5 different categories that you can tune into. And if any one of these areas is out of balance, this is a good indicator that you need to do some work on optimizing your metabolism. So the first area of SHMEC is going to be your sleep. How are you sleeping? Are you getting to sleep well? Are you staying asleep throughout the night? Are you getting good sleep? So if you're like me and maybe you even have a tracker that tracks your sleep, whatever the case may be, if your sleep is out of check, then you're likely not able to optimize your metabolism and get the results that you want out of your workouts. The second area of SHMEC is hunger. So how is your hunger? Have you been more hungry than normal lately? Well, here's the thing. If you've been more hungry than normal lately, and maybe you've been eating less because you're trying to diet and you're eating way less than you should be, your hunger is going to be reactive to that, and it's going to give you crazy strong hunger signals. Because again, the metabolism is not a light switch. It does not go on and off. It is reactive and adaptive. So if you withhold food to too great of a degree, your body is going to send you extra fun, hard, nasty hunger signals that you won't be able to ignore. On the opposite end is your appetite maybe not present. We can oftentimes see that with chronic stress situations when we see someone who is not eating or skipping meals chronically, and they have groomed their metabolism into a very low state by withholding calories chronically over a long period of time. The third area of SHMEC that you want to be paying attention to is your mood. Do you have a hard time regulating your mood? Is your mood even Steven? Whatever the case may be, if your mood is out of check, then your metabolism is likely also out of check. So whether it be an erratic mood, whether you feel really low and lethargic and depressed, whatever that may be, if your mood is out of check and out of balance, then your metabolism is right behind it. The E in SHMEC is your energy level. How's your energy? Do you wake up with good energy? Do you wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck? Do you have good energy throughout the whole day? Or do you have a 2 to 3 p.m. crash where you feel like you could lay down in the fetal position and take a nap? If your energy is out of check, there's a very good chance that your metabolism is also out of check. The last and final component of SHMEC are your cravings. So cravings can be all over the board. They could be sugar, they could be salt, they could be a texture craving even. But if you're having food cravings, and especially if they are specific to sweet or carby foods, there's a very good chance that your body is reacting to something that you've been doing to it. Like maybe you've been restricting carbohydrates really heavily, because again, the metabolism is reactive and adaptive. So if you've been heavily restricting your carbohydrates, your body may be sending you extra carb cravings. So any one of these 5 areas is out of check, there is a very high likelihood that your metabolism needs a makeover. And this is how you start identifying where you're at. So I want you to take a little inventory right now for yourself and ask yourself, out of these 5 areas, are any of these areas out of check for me? The second rule of metabolism is metabolic multitasking. So when we look at exercise and eating, so we're going to have 2 E's, eating and exercise. We can generally clump people into 4 categories of how they're approaching it. But there are 2 ways that are going to be way less stressful on the body and way more effective for metabolic adaptation. So the 4 toggles that we look at when we talk about metabolic multitasking, we have the eat less, exercise more person, which is going to be typical mainstream diet culture. What do they tell you you need to do to lose weight? You need to eat less and you need to exercise more. And that seems really logical, right? But it's not. And that's the thing. It doesn't get you the kind of weight loss and body composition change that you're looking for. It may get you short-term fat loss. It may get you short-term weight loss, but it's not going to be long-term. The really disturbing statistics about long-term weight loss is that only about 5% of the people who lose 10% or more of their body weight keep it off for more than a year. 5%. That's very disheartening if you really think about it, because how hard those people had to work to get there. So you think about it like this: what's 10% of a 220-pound person? That's losing 22 pounds. How hard is it to lose 22 pounds only to regain it 1 year later? Do you want to keep recycling those same results over and over again? Do you want to keep spinning your wheels? Well, eat less, exercise more is not the answer if you really want to change your body long term. The second toggle is going to be the eat more, exercise less person, which is the couch potato or typical American culture. That's going to be the person who we're going to see sedentary, eating a bad diet, not making good choices in either direction, and setting themselves up for major health implications. That's also incredibly stressful on your body. Now we have the other two, which are going to be our preferences for getting our metabolism in check, depending on one big factor, and that is your stress level. So the third toggle that you could turn to when you look at metabolic multitasking is the eat less, exercise less approach. So think about that like European culture. How many of you have been to Europe? If you have ever been to Europe, you know that gym going does not look the same in Europe as it does in the United States. We don't see people going to the gym 5 to 6 times a week like we do in the United States. But what we do see in Europe is a much more active lifestyle, a lot more walking, a lot more traveling by foot for different things, a lot more mindful movement throughout the day. And we also see a much different way of approaching eating. So eating less and exercising less is actually a really great way to elicit a body change, but it still requires you to move your body adequately and eat a balanced diet. So it does not mean just eat less and don't move. There is still strategy behind number 3, and there's still things that you would want to be tuning into in order to make that happen. And the last toggle is going to be the eat more, exercise more approach, which would be athlete culture. So for the person who wants to kick butt in the gym, for the person who wants to get really great workouts, for the person who wants to get really strong, for the person who wants to move really well, this is the approach, generally speaking, that most people need to do in order to get the best results, because most people are under eating the right foods and overeating the wrong ones. So it comes down to eat more good food, exercise more efficiently. And that is going to be the approach that you are going to see us take during this 6-week coaching group. So rule number 3 of boosting your metabolism is looking at your metabolic efficiency. So this is going to be a concept that I really want you to wrap your head around, because metabolic efficiency comes from inefficiency. And what do I mean by that? So when we talk about what kind of fuel is efficient, it's food that easily breaks down. So what kind of food easily breaks down in the system? Well, it's food that's heavily processed. Food that's heavily processed is generally going to be high in fat, high in sugar, high in chemical crud, and not going to be very nutritionally dense. So when we talk efficiency, That is not a positive connotation. When we talk nutritional inefficiency, we talk about fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and healthy fats that take time to break down in the system because they require digestion, that they are not already basically pre-digested, processed crud food like what you see from our gentleman friend on the left. Instead, we want inefficient fuel sources that require energy to break down, which we call the thermic effect of food, which is one part of our metabolism that we actually have control over shifting and changing by what we choose to eat. So you will be boosting your metabolism just by changing your food sources and by getting more whole food, plant heavy focused meals into your diet. And I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian to have a plant focused diet. All of us should have a plant-focused diet, whether or not you choose to consume animal protein. Now, the next part of that equation for metabolic efficiency is adding inefficient forms of exercise. Now, what does that mean? So if you look at what types of exercise burn the most amount of calories, you're going to see forms of exercise like running be up at the top of the list for the number of calories burned per minute. Now, what they're not going to tell you about running is that running or exercises that very efficiently burn fat also make you very efficient at storing fat. So when you're working with exercise like steady state cardio, like running or jogging or long duration, you're generally not going to get the long-term metabolic effect that you would be getting from more efficient or inefficient forms of exercise, like interval training, like strength training, like you've probably even heard of like metabolic training. When we are referencing those types of training systems, that's what we use to create an inefficient exercise structure that requires the body to continue burning for hours, if not days, after the workout has concluded. Because when you're dealing with steady state, long duration cardio, you burn calories while you're doing the exercise, but once it's over, the party is over. When you do inefficient forms of exercise like metabolic work, strength training, or interval training, that metabolic effect lasts for 24 to 48 hours afterwards. So that is going to be the second part of that efficiency equation. The third part is removing persistent organic pollutants. So what is that? Well, it's a lot of things in your house, friend. But the main reason why is that it affects our metabolism because a lot of persistent organic pollutants like plastics are going to disrupt our endocrine system. And if we disrupt our endocrine system, your metabolism goes. So, do you eat out of plastic containers? Do you reheat your food in plastic containers? If you answer yes to those questions, that's one great, easy, simple way to remove a lot of those endocrine disruptors from your lifestyle, is by removing a lot of the plastics that you eat out of or eat off of, especially if they're getting exposed to cold or to heat. Because cold and heat are going to be your extreme temperatures. That's when you're going to start seeing those pollutants get leached from the plastic and into you. And those toxins get stored in your body fat, which then makes it harder for you to lose that body fat because your body creates a protective mechanism from you basically poisoning yourself with the toxins that get trapped in your body fat. So isn't that a cool way to look at basically detoxing your life? Is it really truly affects your ability to lose body fat, and it affects your metabolism in a very big way. So we will get a better metabolic rate if we simply changed our fuel sources, changed our exercise sources, and remove some of the big pollutants from our life. Another big one, scented candles. If you go to that store that has that 7 for $25 deal, I won't name the store. They have really good smelling 3-wick candles. I used to buy all the flavors. Yeah, don't do that. Fragrance is going to be one of the number one endocrine disruptors out there in terms of household products. So from your candles, and there are good alternatives to candles that are still candles, but they're just made in a very sustainable, health conscious way. But some of the mainstream candles, they are definitely not going to be helping your cause when it comes to keeping your body in balance. So that's a complete side note. So it's really about reevaluating your priorities and recognizing that old ways are not going to open new doors when it comes to changing your body. It's the definition of insanity to continue doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and expect a different result. So when it comes to, if you've been a cardio bunny your whole life and you've been chucking on the treadmill and it's not getting you where you want to be, it's time to change things up. If you have grabbed for the 2-pound or 5-pound dumbbells your whole entire exercise career because that's where your comfort zone is at, it's time to bust free from the comfort zone and start moving towards something that makes you a little uncomfortable, because again, that's where the change is going to happen. So we are going to help you prioritize strength training when it comes to your exercise, and we are going to teach you a method of working out that will have you doing 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week in a way that is safe and effective and works on building mobility and stability in all of the right places. And that is going to be one of the biggest benefactors to having that metabolic efficiency that we were talking about. So rule number 4 of boosting your metabolism is going to be your metabolic individuality. So when we talk about metabolic individuality, it's really based off of 3 things. It's based off of your differences, it's based off of your psychology, and it's based off of your personal preferences. So depending on you, your body type, depending on you with what you actually like to eat or how you like to work out, and depending on you, the way your brain works and what actually motivates you, your approach to all of this might look slightly different than the next person. And that's one of the biggest ways that mainstream diet culture keeps you stuck, is that they try to fit everyone into the same box. They try to give everyone the same routine, the same exercise plan, the same diet, the same motivation, the same everything, and expect for completely different people to get the same results. We have to respect and honor that individuality, and that's going to sometimes require a little bit of trial and error along the way. Trying something, see if it works for you, and then moving on and shifting gears. And we are going to teach you how to do that. Because even though it may not, it may be a simple process, which you will see when we teach you, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Because it is not in our human nature to want to change the way we do things. So again, coming alongside coaches and getting coaching to optimize your body composition has nothing to do with you not knowing some of the stuff that we're going to teach you, but it has to do with, are you actually doing it? Are you actually following through and doing the things necessary to get the body that you want? And then the 5th and final law of boosting your metabolism is the law of willpower, or otherwise known as the law of psychic entropy. So it's important to know that willpower is not something that you should be relying on if you want to get great long-term results, because the brain is fatigable. So research shows us that we have what we would refer to as a willpower battery. And that battery can be drained, and that battery can also be recharged, but it really depends on how fatigued we are. So have you ever noticed that your willpower wanes the later in the day it gets? That's a perfect example of that principle, that we have our willpower battery by 8 or 9 p.m. It's pretty much on empty. And at that point, we might start making not so great decisions. So you've probably experienced that it's way easier for you to make good decisions in the morning and way harder to make good decisions at night. This is why. It is the law of willpower, and that law that we have this terminal amount of willpower each day that we have available to us. And if it's drained, it's drained. So we have to rely instead on our habits and our consistency. And we have to remember our why. Why are we showing up like this person today? Why are we making this decision today? Because there are going to be moments along any health and wellness journey where you're not going to want to do the thing necessary to get to where you want to go. And it's because your willpower battery has been sufficiently drained, friend. So recognize that. And that's, again, another reason why mainstream diet culture will keep you stuck, because they tell you it's all, it's all about having good willpower. Just stick to it. Just keep going. Well, if you can't show up every day like the person you have goaled yourself to show up as, if it's that painful for you to show up every day as that person, it's not the right approach for you. If it takes you having to white knuckle through the process every single day, it's not the right approach for you. So we are going to teach you how to create an approach that feels sustainable and realistic, and something that you can lather, rinse, and repeat your way to great results with. Because the thing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful is time and consistency. That's it. It's not that they know more. It's not that they have a better plan. It's that they are doing the things necessary more often than the people who aren't getting results. That's it. And so part of that process is going to be, it's going to rely heavily on who you surround yourself with. So if you're familiar with the crab theory, if you've ever seen a bucket of crabs, if one crab tries to escape over the side of a bucket, the other crabs contained within the bucket will literally rip the crab limb from limb to pull it back inside. And you can think of human nature kind of the same way. So one of the biggest reasons why we see people fail in their health and wellness goals is because of who they're surrounding themselves with. Are you surrounding yourself with crabs? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who lift you up? Are you surrounding yourself with people who speak life into you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who believe in your goals and help you see your potential in them? Because that, my friend, is going to be a big part of your success. Social support is one of the biggest predictors when it comes to success in any change with your health or your wellness. So surround yourself with the people who are going to speak that life into you. Surround yourself with the people who are going to have your back when you're having a bad day. And instead of saying, oh, it's okay, go ahead and have that thing, they're going to get you to talk about it instead of going back to that old habit loop of eating your feelings. Because that's what social support does through this process. And it's one of the reasons why this coaching group has had such massive success over the last 7 years. So those are the 5 laws of boosting your metabolism. And you could probably, after talking about those 5 areas, you could probably already identify an area that you could start working on. There's probably something that you're like, yeah, I could totally start tuning into that. I could totally start being more aware of that. Well, why not do it with a group? Because we are going to be kicking off a 6-week coaching group. We typically started it earlier in the fall, but due to the current landscape of the United States, we've decided to push the coaching group back to this fall because we want to take you guys into the holiday season with really, really, really good habits and helping you walk through the holiday season in a way that serves you. Because at this point in the last 8 months, of this pandemic quarantine state of the union, the average American has gained 8 pounds. 8 pounds in 8 months. So 1 pound a month, or sorry, no, I'm sorry, that statistic is incorrect. 2.6 pounds per month over the last 8 months. 2.6. Sorry. So the average American has gained 2.6 pounds over the last 8 months. And that number is only going to continue to increase because people right now are reacting out of stress and they are not engaging in good behaviors. And a lot of them don't have good social support to do it. So we are opening up this 6-week coaching group, not just to our members, but we're opening up online. We're opening up to non-members who want to come in locally and join us. But the cool thing about this coaching group is that we are going to be providing you with daily check-ins. We are going to be providing you with accountability. We are going to be providing you with topics of discussion that are going to range from things like this, like metabolism, to self-sabotage, to how to make a super shake. We're going to talk about a lot of different things that are going to allow you to be successful through this holiday season as well. Because as you guys may or may not know, the holidays are a little stressful, and you put a pandemic with the holidays, that should equal some really awesome issues with our physiques with many. So we are going to also offer an amazing group of support. So that's where, I mean, the peers, the other coaches, and myself are going to be there for you on the days where you don't want to show up. And it's about checking in with the group and having that little come to Jesus moment with yourself on a daily basis of like, okay, I'm here, I showed up, and now I'm ready to tackle my day. Because sometimes it just takes that top of mind awareness of why you're here in the first place. And we will provide that for you. So the other thing that we also want you guys to get involved with, even if you don't decide to come along with us on the 6-week journey, is our community coaching group. So we have a free community group where we do weekly recipes, we do some weekly lives, we provide some education, support, and accountability. And we basically we will drop anything that we do in our private groups. We may drop snippets of it in this community group. So even if you don't join that coaching group, make sure you get yourself in the Functional Effect and ACOS Nutrition community group. It's a great place to be, just so that you have some top of mind awareness of strategies that are going to help really get you to where you want to go. So again, to recap, what is it going to take to master your metabolism? 1, it is going to take looking at your metabolic compensation. So analyze your schmeck, your sleep, your hunger, your mood, your energy, and your cravings. Where are they at? Are they normal? Are they low? Are they high? What's going on? The second law, metabolic multitasking. Are you doing eat less, exercise less? Or are you doing eat more, exercise more? Just remember that those 2 approaches are going to be the least stressful and most efficient ways of changing your body long-term. But we are going to be focused here in this group on the eat more, exercise more, because again, it's eat more nutritiously, exercise more effectively. And that's going to be the approach that we take here at Functional Effect. The third law of metabolism is going to be metabolic efficiency. So inefficient fuel and inefficient exercise creates effective results. So again, I know that concept of an inefficiency is a little bit backwards from what you would think, but remember, inefficiency is a favorable connotation when it comes to digestion and metabolic rate. And number 4 is metabolic individuality. It's important that you find what works for you based on your preferences, based on your psychology, based on your physical differences, and we're going to help you find that fit. And then the 5th and final is that law of willpower or psychic entropy, that you have a terminal amount of willpower, and that willpower battery will get drained the more fatigued that you are. So if you are ready to start making some changes to the way that you've been approaching your health and wellness over the last 8 months, we are 100% here for you, and we are here to take you through a system that works. So as you can see, we have some really amazing client results. And I mean, and these are all different ages. We have men, we have women, and this program is not based in fads. It is based purely in science, and it is going to help you establish much better habits and in an environment that you're going to be way more successful than if you tried to go at it alone. So what does it look like if you were to get involved with this coaching group? You are going to, if you are brand new to us, you're an in-person client, you're going to be getting a completely customized program in 12 training sessions. Now, if you're an online client or a member, you're also going to be getting the Foundations of Wellness program, the Back to Basics manual, and the Back to Basics recipe book. We're also going to be getting all of you the Back to Basics workout program that was designed by Coach Andrew. And all of the exercises are going to be accessible through our online exercise database, which is super amazing and really convenient for anybody who is working out from their home or not from our gym. And you're also going to be getting weekly group coaching calls where we're going to be addressing all different topics pertaining to all of the things that you heard me talk about tonight. And then we'll also be coming to you in that private Facebook group with daily accountability and inspiration that will help you stay focused on the task at hand and show up on a daily basis as the person that you want to become. So the total value of that package is about $1,730. But for our members, we're going to be offering that coaching group to you for those 6 weeks for $39, and $20 of it is going to go to charity. So for our online participants, it's $99 to get involved for the 6-week coaching group, and a $20 of your registration fee is also going to charity. And for non-members who are local, we're going to have you get registered as an online member first, and then we'll be inviting you in to get you started with your assessment, and we'll be addressing all of that at your appointment. So that idea of having a community to back you, having a group of people who have your best interest in mind and really want you to succeed just as much as you do, is honestly the number one reason why if I wasn't the one moderating this coaching group, that's the reason why I would be here. It's about having a group of people who are cheering for you. It's about having sound, solid science backing up what you're doing, and knowing that you're with a group of people who are all, at the end of the day, wanting you to succeed. So if you are ready and you think that you may want to get started on mastering your metabolism and boosting your ability to change your body and getting your habits in line, all you need to do is go to the Back to Basics site that you see listed right here. And there is a registration link available right on that page. And all you need to do is get yourself registered. So click the link, get yourself registered, and challenge materials are going to be sent out on 11/7. So registration closes on 11/6. Materials are going to be sent out 11/7. And then we are going to be adding you into the private Facebook group and also sending out our weekly group coaching calls via Zoom. So even if you're not a Facebook person, don't worry. All of your group coaching calls are going to be via Zoom, and then we will take those Zoom calls and we will upload them after the fact to the private Facebook group. So if you are not a fan of the Facebook, do not worry. So with that being said, I'm really excited to hopefully have many of you joining us for this journey. We're going to be kicking things off in a big way and helping you to basically tune in to what's been holding you back from getting the results that you want. Because again, oftentimes the things that are holding you back are sometimes outside of your line of vision. And it just takes having someone else to help you see where you might be able to clean things up in order to make that massive progress that you've been missing out on. So I definitely would love to see you involved. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. My email is sarah@functionaleffect.com, and you can hit me up with any questions that you might have. And oh, by the way, every $20 from, or the $20 from each registration fee that we are going to collect for charity is going to be going to a group called King's Ransom Foundation. They are a group that 100% of all money raised goes directly to those in need. They have no administration fees at all. So every dollar that gets donated to King's Ransom Foundation actually goes to the people who it's intended to be used for, which in our case, we are donating to those who are affected by the sex trafficking industry. So human trafficking, sex trafficking is where all of our donated money will be going towards. And so we hope that you can join us in not only this quest to better our own health, but in this cause to help support those who are being trafficked. So we hope to see you as part of the group, and do not hesitate to spread the word about this. We're going to be sending this link out, and you can send it far and wide, because the more, the merrier. Thank you all for being here. And I am going to go ahead and log this off so we have a nice, concise video to send out to everyone else. Have a great night, you guys, and I will talk to you soon.